Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Jordyn and welcome to my April TBR. I'm so excited for it to be spring, for the weather to start getting nicer, for certain plans that I have coming up in April, and hopefully for getting into even more amazing books. This is probably going to be a relatively quick video because I have reading plans for April, but they're not super strict or flushed out. There's definitely room for movement. Usually when I plan my monthly TBRs, they're pretty structured, and like every week in the month I will have a different video or readathon planned, so I pretty much know what I'm going to be reading. April's a little bit different. There are a couple of shorter readathons that I will talk about. I also have almost a week-long trip that will definitely require me to be a little bit more flexible, but I also think April will just be a nice reset month. The first 3 months of this year have been great reading months in terms of quantity. I've found some favorites, so in terms of quality, and it's been great, but I think April is just going to be a little bit more calm. I say that and I'll probably read the most books in April, so who knows. Hello, popping in here quickly as I'm editing this video because I did also want to provide an update on the move that I announced in a video a few weeks ago, probably about a month ago at this point, but some things fell through, so we are no longer planning on moving at the moment. Who knows what's gonna happen in the coming weeks and months, but as of now, moving is on pause, so don't expect any moving content from me in the immediate future. Hopefully things change again because I was excited for it, but yeah, life likes to throw curveballs, so we are adjusting, and so April will be back set at home, no moving, just so you know. Let's just get into talking about the books that I'll be reading. First things first are my recurring series on my channel that I need to keep up with, the first one being my Book of the Month vlogs. If you are new to my channel, I do Book of the Month reading vlogs where I read the picks that I pick either every month or every other month, depending on how many I pick. I'm not sponsored by Book of the Month, I'm just a regular old member. I love the service, and I also love keeping up with the books that I pick every month so I can get reviews out and buzz going about the titles if I love them. And in March, I picked 2 books. One of them was one of their new regular picks, and then one of them was a backlist title that I've recently been hearing so many great things about that I needed to pick it up. Oh no. Okay, my main pick is Rootless by Crystal Zara Apaya, and I'm just noticing that there's a big like scratch going down the center of the cover, which is really sad because I really love this cover. I am such a cover person. I love a beautiful book cover. I love these bright colors. I love the jewelry she's wearing. I honestly know nothing about this book. I picked it up pretty much on a whim. The top of this front flap says, a provocative debut novel about a marriage in crisis that asks, can you ever be rooted in a home that's on the brink of collapse? Okay, I feel like I'm gonna love that. I love reading about marriages and mature relationships. I think this is going to be probably a hard-hitting contemporary novel with a lot of good topics, so can't wait to read that one. Then the other one that I picked was more of a backlist title. It looks like it was published in May of 2022, but it's Take My Hand by Dolen Perkins Valdez. A few of my friends have told me that they've read this book and absolutely loved it. It's historical fiction. The synopsis of this one says, a searing and compassionate new novel about a young Black nurse's shocking discovery and burning quest for justice in post-segregation Alabama from the best-selling author of Wench. I feel like I'm due for a good historical fiction book, so I can't wait to read this one and hopefully love it as much as my friends have. And then depending on when I do that Book of the Month reading vlog, if I pick a book in April and it comes in time, I will also include it in that video. Similarly, I will also be doing my Aardvark reading vlog. Aardvark is a newer subscription service, very similar to Book of the Month. I signed up as a regular member, but I have also done a few kind of partnerships with Aardvark just to help them with promotion, and they've sent me books in return. Before we get into the Aardvark books, I also do want to mention that Aardvark is currently running a promotion where they're offering your first box for only $4 plus free shipping to anyone who lives in the US. So if you have not tried Aardvark out and have been considering it, this would be a great time to do that and try it out. If you use my code or my link, that just tells them that I'm the one that sent you to them. No pressure at all to use that if you don't want to. A bunch of other people have codes for Aardvark as well, but this offer is good through the end of March. So at the time I'm posting this, you do have a few days left to redeem it if you would like to. So I just wanted to share it one last time. I have done 2 Aardvark reading vlogs so far, so also if you want to see some of my honest thoughts on Aardvark as a service and their book picks, you could go back and watch those. And then again, I will be doing another one in April. I've got 5 Aardvark books here to choose from for that vlog. I'm not sure if I'll get to all 5, but I will do my best. My options that I have are, first of all, my March pick that I bought and paid for myself is 48 Clues into the Disappearance of My Sister by Joyce Carol Oates. I feel like this has a very cool cover. It's a mystery thriller. I've heard almost nothing about it. The writing in this book is huge, and large margins and lots of space between the lines. So this should be a pretty fast read and maybe will allow me to get to all 5 books for this video, but this one is definitely a high priority. And then as a part of this promotion they're running, they did send me 3 of their February picks, and those were sent for free. I'm really excited though, because one in particular I'm sad I missed out on originally, so I asked if this could specifically be one of the ones included, and luckily they said yes. It's The House of Eve by Sadiqa Johnson. I think this is a historical fiction book. I've seen great reviews for it so far. I think it also was picked for a Read with Jenna book club pick, and I do love to keep up with Reese and Jenna book club picks. The top of the synopsis here says, from the award-winning author of Yellow Wife, a daring, beautiful, and redemptive novel that explores what it means to be a woman and a mother and how much one is willing to sacrifice to achieve her greatest goal. That sounds completely up my alley. I love books about motherhood, womanhood. I think this will be great. So definitely this one will also be included in that vlog. The other 2 that they sent, I don't really know anything about, so they're complete wild cards, which excites me, but you never know how it's going to turn out. The next one is another beautiful cover. The Dream Builders by Andrilla Mukherjee. Not sure how to pronounce that, but if I do read that in the vlog, I will check on the pronunciation. It looks like it's about a character who has lived in the US for a few years and then returns to India to mourn the loss of her mother and finds herself in a new world. It sounds like the city has just evolved and become more developed, and it doesn't feel like where she grew up. Written from the perspectives of 10 different characters. Okay, that's interesting. Not sure how I'm gonna feel about 10 different character perspectives, but I am willing to give it a try. Let me know if anyone has read this book and if you have any thoughts. I truly am just a sucker for a beautiful cover, and this is so beautiful. So I think there's an okay chance of me liking that one. And then the next one, really not sure. This one I believe is a cozy mystery, or at least it sounds and looks like it from the title and the cover, but it's called A Half-Baked Murder by Emily George, which at first glance does just look like a cutesy cozy mystery. But you will notice the marijuana leaf here, and half-baked obviously insinuates a double meaning. So I was not expecting that, and I'm not sure how I will enjoy a book with that as an element. It says formerly trained pastry chef Chloe Barnes is opening a cannabis bakery, and then her grandmother falls ill. She returns to her hometown to start over, and she concocts delicious edibles with her quirky Aunt Dawn. Interesting. Huge wild card. Not sure how I'm gonna feel about this, but I have it, so I feel like I should give it a try. It's relatively short. I don't know. We will see at the time that I'm filming that vlog how I'm feeling about this. And then the last book that could be included in that video is much more of a backlist book. This was one of Aardvark's November or December picks, I think. It is another historical fiction called Gilded Mountain by Kate Manning. I actually meant to include this in my previous Aardvark reading vlog, but I just kind of ran out of time and was reading, I think, 4 other books for that video. So it got pushed, but I did have at least one person comment on that video that they were hoping I would review this one. So that makes me really want to include it in the next one. So that is the effort I'm going to make. All right, so other than those kind of regular videos on my channel, I don't have any other themed reading vlogs planned at the moment, but I do have a couple of short readathons I want to participate in. The first is called Flowerathon. This is being run by Rachel over at Happy Go Lovely Sleeves for her birthday. She's hosting a 72-hour readathon from April 7th to the 9th. And the only prompt is to read books with flowers on the cover. I'll get to that in a second, but she's also planning on doing reading sprints basically all day on the 7th. If you follow my channel, you know that I do regular productivity sprints on my channel on Fridays, which I love doing, but Rachel asked me if she could do reading sprints all day on that Friday and if I would join her, and I said absolutely. So on Friday, April 7th, there will be no productivity sprints on my channel, but mark your calendars because we will be doing reading sprints on Rachel's channel. I will join her, so I will be on screen. Definitely join us for reading or productivity, whatever you have going on that day. And then again, for that weekend, she wants people to read books with flowers on them. To be honest, I'm gonna struggle with this a little bit. I was looking through my own TBR for books with flowers on them and was coming up short. I shockingly have no like floral books on my own TBR. Rachel did say that she will count plants as flowers, so that opens up my options a bit. 2 things I could end up reading are, first of all, Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. This is a female-female romance. That's actually the sequel to Delilah Green Doesn't Care, which I read in January and really enjoyed. This one's got plants by this arch going up those columns. So that will technically work. I also could read this book that's been sitting on my shelves for a while, Never Never by Colleen Hoover and Taryn Fisher. I think this is a romance. I'm not sure if there's some kind of like suspense thriller element to it or not, but I know this was just kind of like a fun friend project for these 2 authors where one of them wrote a chapter and sent it off to the other one, and they would try to like twist it on its head and then send it back for them to write the next chapter, which is just a really fun idea to me. I don't know if it will result in like the best crafted novel, but I'm hoping to at least have fun with it. And I think this is 3 little novellas that have all been bound together into this one book version. And it's got trees on the cover, so we're gonna count those as flowers, I guess. And then I was also about to get excited because I thought that on the cover of this book, Maybe Now by Colleen Hoover, I thought that was a flower, but it appears to be a crumbled up piece of paper. So this doesn't work, but if for some reason I find myself with a bunch of extra reading time, I finish those other 2 books either during this weekend readathon or just at some point in the month, I would like to read the Maybe Someday series. So this is a series of 2 books that actually is the first book, Maybe Someday. I think the second book is Maybe Now, and then this one, Maybe Not, is really short. It's a novella. I'm not sure where it falls in the series, but I'll have to look that up before I read them. But if I can knock these out, these will be my last Colleen Hoover books that I haven't read yet, which I definitely want to achieve. I want to read Colleen Hoover's complete backlist. I have not loved her older books compared to her newer releases, but still, it feels like something I want to accomplish. So maybe at some point in the month I will do that. And then the one other short little readathon that I know is happening is a halfway to Halloween readathon that I think is 24 or 48 hours, being hosted by Gwen. Her channel is Gwendolyn Kensinger. She has a podcast called Talk Bookish to Me, and she also has a Patreon, and this readathon is being run through her Patreon. So this is happening on April 28th to 29th. I think there will be at least one reading prompt that she's gonna release. I'm not sure what it is yet. I'm hoping and assuming that because it's being called Halfway to Halloween, it's going to have a spooky vibe. So looking at my shelves, I thought this would also be probably a good weekend to tackle the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, which no, I have not read yet. This is becoming my most embarrassing set of books on my TBR because I keep putting them on TBRs and then not getting to them. I think it's partially because I want to read the series in one go. I don't want to just read the first book and then leave the other 2 hanging out to dry to never be read again. I want to kind of binge them all together. It also fits within a book series binge video series I do on my channel, so that's just my own personal mental block I have to get through. But maybe starting with this weekend readathon and then extending it however long you need to, I could finally read this series, which I think I'm going to really enjoy. And I believe this is a young adult mystery thriller about a high school student who does like a true crime project for school and has some kind of podcast element or something. Not really sure, but I've heard great things about the series and I think I will like it whenever I end up getting to it. So that is all I have planned on my April TBR. Please let me know what you are planning on reading in April. Are there any readathons that you're participating in that I might have missed and should consider looking into? Or have you read any of the books that I've talked about and what are your opinions? Again, I'm expecting it to be a great reading month, but hopefully a little bit calmer than my recent reading months have been. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else. So thank you so much for watching this video and I will see you in my next one.